Inman here. Glad to be with you. I'm here with Kiko Liang, who is a very accomplished human resources executive and content creator in the space. Kiko, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, thank you, Bill, for having me.
Absolutely. And I know that you've researched and written a lot about the Great Resignation and a lot of the pandemic created problems in human resources. So glad to talk to you about that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Great Resignation and what you've seen?
Yeah, so I realized that it's time for me to write my first article regarding the Great Resignation because it's the buzzword throughout the whole internet. And so I looked into some research about the Great Resignation and found that there's a lot of companies that are still not in the known, that we are going through this stage of losing a lot of great talents, and those talents might not even have a backup position to go to. And so it's really what I wrote that article is to help businesses to wake up and say, like, let's take a look at our people. What's really going on in the background? Why are people leaving this organization without a backup? And partially, some of the reasons that I was able to find is that there's the work-life balance piece. And then the organization's in flexibility to change and the adaptation to change, and which is why it's causing such a problem.
So work-life balance has changed a lot in the pandemic, right? I think people were reminded that they can work from home and be maybe more productive. Do you agree with that? Is that what your definition of work-life balance is?
I would definitely say so. People are actually much more productive at home. Using less time to travel, that actually save the company money as well. And in fact, a lot of the team members are working after hours when they're at home and be able to do much more than just being in an office.
Yeah, hopefully those people love what they do. I know I do. It certainly seems that you do. So for you and I to work into the evening, no issue, right? It's somewhat fun. Although we
Not
have
at all. I think it's my passion. I love to deal with people, and I just love HR in general. So it's never work for me. It's a career. So that's how I do it.
I'm the same way. Knock on wood, right? That we both feel that way. But for maybe the average person or many people don't always feel that way. So, but they are. Is it a bit of an affliction to take work home for some? Do you think? Or should they be incentivized differently? And maybe this is part of the Great Resignation. People are realizing that.
Yeah, I think right now a lot of people are needing the space of mental health concerns. That's a big one that's been raised, and we tried to do many different ways, either giving EAP assistance which is employee assistance programs, to help them cope and be able to work-life balance a little bit better, or just to talk it out and see like what is really the problem that they're facing at home.
If that's what you're doing at your current company, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're not only a thought leader in the space, but you're also an implementer. So you get to test and do some R&D to see what works and what doesn't work. So, and of course, as we talked about before the call, you're working from home.
Yes, mainly. I am 100% working from home right now. Our organization, I think, is looking towards a hybrid work model in the future, which will be it will be a good thing for our organization, because sometimes people like to see people, not just looking at their four walls all day, and be able to interact and have that people connection.
Okay, I love that. So now, maybe maybe 1, 2, or 3 or 4, however many things you can think of. What should companies be doing to counter the Great Resignation? You said many companies don't adapt. So what do they need to do to adapt?
I think one of the things that they can do is really survey their team members, understand what is really bothering them. And from there, then you can decide what are some of the next issues that you can tackle right away, and what are some things that you can put off to the side and take care of later. Prioritize those tasks as it comes and tackle it one at a time.
Let me get into the weeds with you on that. How often do you survey your team?
We do about 2 times a year. One, we do like an annual. We actually are a certified Great Place to Work organization, so we do those surveys once a year, and then I also do a mid-year check-in just to understand where we are. And before the the big launch of the Great Place to Work survey, we wanted to be able to change some of these things if it's not going the right way, or how we can increase our communication skills or be more transparent, things like that. We'll try to work together and get those resolved before the survey goes out.
Well, that's a great certification, at least the sound of it is. Do people go to Great Place to Work to get the certification? Do they become a member? How does that work?
Yeah, so the process is pretty much it's a culture it's a culture a survey, which want to know like how the company feel, like how the team members feel about their organization. And so are they trusting the leaders? So it talks about the leadership, it talks about self and a camaraderie and how they work as a team and how do they think of the brand. So those are some of the things that they would look at in this survey. And it's a pretty robust survey, and pretty much by surveying the employees, you'll be able to tell whether this company is a great place to work or not. And from our survey, we are at a 93%. 93% of our team members do believe that we are a great place to work. So it's a very good selling point for us here to get some great talents in the door. And I always start off with a candidate. Well, we are a great place to work organization. Have you ever heard of that? And so we can tell that our culture within the organization is something that is promising and that people will feel good working in a company like that.
What a fantastic tip. And if we can, we'll put the notes to this video, where to go to look more at that. So I stopped you there at surveys. So once you get the surveys in, I'm sure there's you're uncovering a lot of things. Sometimes they're urgent and sometimes they're broad and many times they're grouped. What do you do next? So now you've got all this list of priorities, which you talked about. How do you take action on that?
Yeah, so we obviously do an action plan. The action plans never have to be, I found 10 problems, let me solve 10 problems. It's more about, I found 10 problems, let's tackle the top 3. And I think top 3 is good enough for the whole year. That's a lot to work on. And we think of these things on this perspective of the whole company. So everyone will be tackling these problems at the same time. So it's not just the company's problem. It's not just the business, the department's problem. We tackle it all at the same time. So we would have collaborative meetings to sit down and to talk about what the problem is, how are some solutions to this, and it's not just leaders that sit through these meetings, it's with staff. So we will sit with staff and then we'll talk to them too and have their input on what they think and how they think that things should be changed.
Good practice. Are these company-wide meetings, or do you go to the division or line managers and work with them independently?
Well, we work on a business unit. Like we go through one by one, but then ultimately it's the group together. It comes up with a solution, and then we take votes on which one is the best way to go forth with it.
These are great tips. So how do you know you're successful at the end of the day?
Well, you can actually see engagement go up, you can actually see productivity, and you can actually see that people are very happy working here. And obviously the retention rates are higher. There's less, we actually really promote mobility, talent mobility within our organization too. And that really helped drive the engagement and I would say almost protect it from going through the Great Resignation in some ways.
Yeah, good. That's a great kind of summary there. So Kiko, where can people read your blog, and how do they find out more about the information you're sharing?
So I share my stories on LinkedIn. So pretty much if they just look me up on LinkedIn, and I just started to post some of these articles. I just wrote another one about digital transformation recently, and how that's going to change the old norm. So if anyone is interested, definitely come to my webpage and take a look at that. And I would be very happy if someone can comment and let me know what they think about my thoughts.
Yeah, this has been fantastic information and like action items that any company can do, as simple as send a survey. And you've given a suggestion on which survey to send and then what you do after. So we will definitely take you up, if you're okay with it, on doing the follow-up to your new article and talking about that. And this was really great. Thank you so much for your time, Kiko Liang.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care. Stay tuned for next episodes, and we are happy to bring you this great content. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.